Have you ever just wondered about what it really means to have what we know as privilege? How can small pleasures in life seem so significant to some and absolutely meaningless to others? How can we measure as a society what matters and what doesn't? These are some of the questions we will think about and try to answer today.
Hey everyone, I'm Geeta and always with me is Christina. Our topic today is loosely based on the question, how can small things or achievements in life mean so little to someone but mean so much more to a different person?
We also have a special guest this week, Alyssa, who we will be asking a few questions later about her perspective on our topic. Geeta and I are also submitting this to the New York Times Podcasting Challenge, and we will hope for the best.
As we all know, we live on Long Island and go to the Herricks Middle School. We are so lucky to come here every day. It provides us with a good educational experience, and it really is a great privilege. Privilege is a word we have used a couple times, but what does it really mean?
I feel like to everyone, privilege means something different. I know for me, definitely it means that someone has the ability to take things for granted and not really think about what the experience or what this object really means. And they never really have to let the weight of their luckiness and their privilege sink in. And now, welcome our guest for our show today, Alyssa.
Hi everyone, I'm so happy to be here.
So Alyssa, we were just discussing about what privilege really means to us. What are your thoughts on privilege? What does it mean to be privileged to you?
So in terms of our school, I think privileged means to have freedom and get access to one of the many things like technology. And I think in my own life, privilege means not having to worry about certain things, just like Christina mentioned.
Yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from. Not everyone has the same experience as all others. Some people can grow up in poverty while others may grow up rich. They'll never have the same experiences. The rich person has much more privilege than what we consider privilege for the poor person.
Yeah, they take into account about like what objects mean to them. To like the richer person, everything would be like somehow like worthless to them, or like things would mean less. And they would have like a different idea about this. But compared to the poor person, they would take everything for granted, you know, since they have less. And they would take into account everything they get. And, you know, for example, if someone had been given a privilege like to get a job at McDonald's, a person living in poverty would rather take the job, seeing it as an opportunity to grow and get out of the situation they're in. But a person, like a rich person, like say a celebrity, they would rather brush off this opportunity, since it is like just one of the others. Like it's a very common thing, and they wouldn't really like appreciate it as much. And like some opportunities like are looked upon as differently to others, and people mistakes can mean so much like different to others, where some people can look up at as a mistake as like some failure, but other people will look at it as an opportunity to grow.
Yeah, I can totally agree where this is coming from. Like, let's say this rich person, let's say they get the job at McDonald's. They wouldn't care because this doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't affect their lives in any way that matters to them. Whereas the poor person, it would affect their lives a lot. It would give them an income, a paycheck. It would turn some things in life around for them. And it would be so impactful for them. And I feel like they look at this differently because the poor person has what we consider to be less privileged than the person with a lot of money. And it affects how they think, how their mindsets are. Like a rich person would have a different mindset because they would consider this to be an opportunity that's pretty much worthless to them. So Alyssa, what is your take on the appreciation of it all? Like what do we appreciate versus what we don't appreciate based on our privilege?
I think a lot of times we don't understand what privilege means to someone else, so things that we may brush off can definitely have an impact on someone who may see that as a privilege. And I think we definitely take a lot of things for granted just because of our situation and like how we, for example, were brought up versus someone who has lived in poverty their whole life.
Exactly, it's the experiences that shape the people and their mindset. And this just reminds me of how people have different opinions and ideas on certain things, and it makes everyone special and unique to the world. Okay, so Christina, where can you find us?
You can find us on Twitter at Herricks Studios. You can find this podcast on your favorite app by searching for Herricks Studios. And if you would like to leave us a review, please do so on Apple Podcasts, and we might read it on the show. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Bye.